Welcome to the party. I'm not here right now, but I want you to listen very carefully. These guys are very funny, so pay attention. Enough talk. It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and my co-host is Pete.
Hello.
This episode we are joined once again by Gavin Jones.
Holla.
So thankfully we've got you back on this time after our failed attempt when technology failed us when we were trying to do the Expendables. So fingers crossed it all works this evening.
I've got everything crossed right now, dude. Seriously.
I think this is already the longest you've stayed on.
Yeah. I mean, to say once again you've got me on is not fair. Really. I'd have never really made it before.
Well, we got you as the macho man briefly sort of doing your review. So that was actually...
Shit, yeah, I totally forgotten about that. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, excellent. I should know that. I've listened to every episode.
Absolutely, yes.
You're the one.
I am the one, yes.
The thing is, when we say thank you, faithful fan, when I was at Thought Bubble, we were talking to people, about 7 people came up to me and said, every time you say that, I think you're talking to me, and I say hello back. So hello, faithful listener. There are actually more than one of you, it turns out. So thanks. So this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different going forward. We're going to pick films that we all really enjoy and alternate between one that Pete's chosen, one I've chosen. We're going to try and do one a month, but we'll see. It may slip.
It's certainly the plan because we've gone on a quite sporadic schedule with a busy year or so. So we're going to try and be a bit more positive and a bit more regular.
Yes, lots of fibre in our diet and lots of prunes. So
you can tell you two are getting old.
Shut up, man. That's sparkling in the mirror. It ain't because I'm a vampire. It's all the sun shining for the white in my hair. So this episode, we are doing the 1991 film, The Last Boy Scout, and this was Pete's choice.
It was.
So, Pete, tell us why you love this film, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. It's mainly, I think, the script. Now, I've kind of brought Gavin on to back me up in the Shane Black department, because anyone who's listened to the show a bit will know that I'm a big fan of Shane Black, and my next pick actually will be in a month or so, 2 months or so, will be another Shane Black film. But the main thing with this film is I wasn't 100% with it when I first saw it.
Yeah.
It seems to be a thing with me in Tony Scott films, because I remember not liking Days of Thunder, but I've gone back to that and I actually quite like that now. I may be the only person who likes Days of Thunder, but there we are. So yeah, this film, essentially it's a buddy cop film. It was similar in structure in a way to Lethal Weapon, which was also written by Shane Black. It was his first script, and at the time that it came out, it was the largest amount of money ever paid for a script. There was a big bidding war. Produced by Joel Silver, who also produced Lethal Weapon and Predator, so has quite a good track record. And it's Bruce Willis in a buddy cop, well, not buddy cop as such, buddy detective and buddy American footballer movie with Damon Wayons.
He was quite an odd kind of choice in some ways, because I think I'd seen him in the odd bit here and there before, but nothing in this kind of a serious, semi-serious action role, him as a leading man, essentially. So he was an odd choice, I thought.
Well, originally, they had Mel Gibson was going to be Jimmy Dix.
Really?
Apparently so, yeah.
Wow.
Which would have been a completely different thing altogether. I couldn't imagine Bruce Willis and Mel Gibson in a film like that. Or we will.
I couldn't see them getting on, to be honest.
No. Well, originally as well, I suppose Jack Nicholson was going to be Joe Hallenbeck. So it might have been a completely different movie with Jack Nicholson and Mel Gibson.
I can't get my head around that.
That sound is Pete's mind exploding.
Well, yeah, not especially when you consider like quite a lot of the humour comes from the differences between Bruce Willis and Damon Wayons, because I mean a lot of it is the fact that Bruce Willis is this bored old white guy, and Jimmy Dix is like, up and coming. Well, actually, he's almost out of the game as well, isn't he? But young black dude, and there's that sort of culture clash as well. So to have two white guys, two fairly odd white guys together would have made a completely different movie.
Actually, I think Lethal Weapon originally, Murtaugh was supposed to be white.
See, that could work. That one would be okay. I think you get away with it in Lethal Weapon. This doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it would fit.
Do you think they sort of tried to copy the formula and then go, white guy, black guy, and two very different people, but sharing a common interest? And Shane Black went for something similar with this, and they thought, hey, look, it worked for Lethal Weapon, so they tried to just copy the same thing in a way.
I think that's exactly what he did. I mean, like Pete said, this was, 1.75 million at the time.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
They turned down another offer of 2.5 million because he wanted to work with Joel Silver, apparently. But then following this was Long Kiss Goodnight, which was 4.5 million. Which
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. That's surprising, really, because this didn't really do that well in the box office, did it? It wasn't a smash.
No, it had a long tail, I think is the expression.
So that means it didn't at the start, and it get a bit of steam as it went on.
Yeah, I think it didn't do particularly in the States, and I think it took longer, and then foreign, because obviously there used to be a bigger lag in those days, so the foreign box office, and then I think it's been probably watched by a lot more people at home than saw it on the big screen.
Yeah, back then DVD wasn't part of the picture. Now it's kind of counted in, they go, okay, well, pick up this much in sales afterwards, so they don't worry too much. So the budget, let's have a look. What was the total budget for the film? It made $60 million in the US, and its opening weekend was just under $8 million. Doesn't say what the budget was, though.
I think it more or less... Oh, yeah, budget $29 million estimated.
So it more than washed its face, then.
Yeah. That's
And
great.
armpits.
Yes. So for 1991, that nearly twice as much money. That's pretty damn good. And no wonder they were happy with it and paying that much for the script as well. Okay. So this is early Shane Black. This is how many? He's done a few films since then. This is him riding off the back of the success of Lethal Weapon. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think that was the first script he sold. He done Monster Squad as well.
Yeah, did he do Lethal Weapon 1 and 2?
He did the story, I think, too, or co-wrote it. He wasn't as involved as one was kind of his first script he sold off the bat, really. But he shared a house. I can't remember the names of all the other people, but his house mates were all other action screenwriters. It's Fred Decker that wrote RoboCop, and they all sold movies around the same time. Early 90s, kind of a house of five guys writing action movies together. It must have been pretty cool.
Oh, so 87 Lethal Weapon, 89 Lethal Weapon 2, 91 Last Boy Scout. So he did the characters and some of the story for Lethal Weapon 2, it says. So he was doing then Lethal Weapon 3, Last Action Hero, Long Kiss Goodnight, and so on, and right up to Iron Man 3 in 2013. Wow.
Yeah, with a big gap in between. Either because he did a ridiculous amount of money, but I heard an interview with him a while ago from a film festival, it was the Austin Film Festival, where he talked about how the pressure of performance kind of thing and how much money his scripts and things had gone for totally screwed with him, and he was not just block but kind of stage fright almost of having to try and repeat that. So yes, he sort of stepped out of things for a while.
Yeah, and then I think I heard that one as well. And he was talking about he needed a bit of a break to clear his head. And when he came back, the gap was noticeable. People saying, okay, well, you. And he's like, well, Shane Black, I wrote this. Who? So he had to kind of almost start from the ground up again when he was doing films back in like 2005.
Very true.
Pete, tell us about the story then. Given that this is your film, tell us about The Last Boy Scout. What's the long and short of it?
Okay.
Long
Joe
piece of string.
Hallenbeck, played by Bruce Willis, is a former Secret Service agent. Used to protect the president, but is now a very washed out, probably drunk, sleeps in his car with a squirrel. A private detective, and basically he is offered a case to protect a stripper called Corey, played by an early role for Halle Berry. And through that, he ends up working with her boyfriend, Jimmy Dix, played by Damon Wayons, and between them, they kind of have to look into why she was killed and also what's going on with a betting scandal involving American football.
Yes. Very succinctly put. Well done. So,
did you both recognise the singer who sings the opening song? Also appears on screen singing it.
Would that be a young Mr. Bill Medley?
That would be correct.
With his mullet. So the first thing I wrote down was American football and mullets.
Nice. And that's without it being a Brian Bosworth film. That's impressive.
Oh, come on. Love the mullet. There are at least 2 other mullets in this film, but we'll get to them later.
Nice.
It's got the album.
Friday night's a great night for football. Seriously, right? That has got to be one of the best opening credit scenes ever. Yep. It is amazing. You've got a montage of American football. You've got Bill Medley rocking out with his mullet.
It's up there with James Brown at the start of Rocky.
Yeah, it's just, and do you know what? I love the contrast, the way it's juxtaposed with. You've got this sort of bullshit American opening where everything's amazing, it's great. We're like Friday night, it's a great night for football. They're telling you it's a great night for football, and then you cut to real life and what it's actually, real movie life, and it's chucking it down with rain. It looks horrible. No one looks happy to be there. It's just the exact opposite of everything you've just been told.
Yeah, the Friday night bag of shit didn't scan.
Yeah, but it goes from reality, as you say, the realities of Hollywood, the realities of the real world, where things are a little bit tougher.
It's great, though, because I think in a way that's part of the, because it's all set around American football, it is a bit like underneath this sheen, things aren't very nice. Do you recognise the guy who plays Billy Cole?
Billy Cole is... I do recognise him, but I can't think of what he's in.
Billy Cole at the start of the film is which I hated this scene the first I saw the film, but I really like it now. He's basically a character. He takes a phone call. He's told he has to go and score touchdowns to win the game, or he's going to be killed. He's been out, but he instead shoots various other players and then shoots himself. Billy Blanks has been in a few films. AWOL, China O'Brien 2, King of the Kickboxers. He's a martial artist, but he's also the inventor of Tai Bo, which is a martial arts workout, which I have owned in my life on DVD.
Did you almost accidentally kick in your television trying to
pretty much? Yeah, there's a lot of elbows and knee and foot movements. And that. But I love the fact Billy Blanks plays Billy Cole, because I just imagine with an actor that you keep the name right. Okay, we just call him Billy, just to make it a bit easier for him to remember his name.
Yeah, he does seem like that sort of guy, doesn't he? I always found the look in that scene. It's great. It's a great scene. It really does. You don't expect that is the last thing you kind of expect is for an American footballer to go crazy and start shooting everyone. And I've always thought the logic was really bad. Like he doesn't even get anywhere close to being tackled before he starts shooting people. No. Let's take everyone out. He could have actually made that touchdown without.
I think shooting people maybe made it harder.
I mean, he is supposed to be on PCP at the time, so
That's a valid point.
Oh, no.
He does have a great death line, though.
Ain't life a bitch, or something.
Yeah. He thumbs down, says ain't life a bitch, then shoots himself.
Perfect. They should have just put that on the front cover of the DVD.
They should have just called it that. That would have suited very much in the main character. And both main characters who've basically been shat on for being good guys and doing the right thing, and then they still got fucked. So, that's what it should have been called.
I'm pretty sure shat on, but they still got fucked is a different movie.
That's in the section behind the beads in the old DVD shop. For those of you who can remember video clubs and video shops.
You know too much.
What's a video club? I mean,
we used to go to the video den. It's like the library thing. We had video club where you get to rent 3 video cassettes a month or a week. if you're really lucky and pay a nominal fee.
You've just broken the first rule of Video Club.
When I was growing up as a kid, we had a video van.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. It used to come out like it was like the ice cream van. Only he didn't have a crap tune. He just sort of like turn up in the street, and all the kids would run out and get 18 movies because this was the 80s and nobody really cared. As long as it kept you quiet, your folks were happy.
I think I've told this before, but my nan used to take me to the video shop. So I remember getting out Return of the Living Dead and Predator. Yes, I'm watching those films. They're two of my favourites. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that would work these days. Well, they're probably just giving the kids just to shut them up. So,
simpler times, Joe. Simpler times.
Indeed. Well, the character Joe gets a great intro. I think it's a marvellous introduction to a character. Yes, it does have all the kind of washed out detective cliches. The designer stubble. He's asleep, drunk in his car, and then some local kids drop a dead squirrel on him, which we've all wanted to do that. You don't always get the opportunity. How often do you see a man asleep in his car and also have access to a dead squirrel? But they did, and they took the opportunity, and good on them. Yeah,
but they tried to steal his money. So they took a joke. They went from a little bit of a joke to, we're now going to make ourselves criminals, and we're going to steal money from him.
Oh, they try to take his watch, don't they? Don't they try to take his watch?
Yeah, it's his watch they try and take.
Yeah, little thieving scabs. And he points a gun at their face, and they run off peeing their pants, which I think is a lesson well learned.
Good life lesson.
But Joe does come back with the ever when he's talking to Mike. He gets a call then from Mike, and he says to him, "What did he get up to last night?" And he's like, "I think I fucked a squirrel to death," which is just fucking brilliant. And that kind of that sums up Hallenbeck all the way through the film. He's not fazed by anything. He's just kind of the same guy all the way through. Nowhere, like he's just born again hard, but without kind of trying to be a big macho man. He's just a prick.
He's a likeable prick, though. I just can't see any. I know you said obviously Jack Nicholson was originally potentially going to have the part. I just can't see anyone but Bruce Willis getting away with being that much of a prick and still being that charming.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the best casting.
And do you know what he does in the film? I noticed pretty much from the start. You can't really do in films now, and you never ever see. Any ideas what it does all the way through the film?
Smoke.
Yeah, chain smokes the entire time. Every scene, whether he's in his house, in the bedroom, cleaning his gun, whether he's in the club, whether he's sat in his car, whether he's in the police station, he's smoking a fag constantly.
And do you know what? I understand why they don't do that anymore, because I watched this on Sunday and I
smoked 47 cigarettes.
Yeah, no, I chain smoked through the whole thing. Wow. I'm totally susceptible to it. I was just like, every time he lit up, I was like, I fancy a smoke now. And I think you got to kind of get a little bit drunk and smoke a shitload of cigarettes to watch this movie. Oh, and one of the lines he says, again, when he's talking to Mike on the phone, he's saying, what else you could do instead of taking this job? And he's like, I was thinking about smoking some cigarettes. And he's like, could you postpone? He's like, I don't know. These are some pretty cigarettes. Yes. Come on. That's a classic line. Shane Black, he's the best at dialogue.
There's also when he's sat in the car and he's talking to himself, but you think, maybe he's going to psych himself up, but it's the complete opposite. So nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. You're going to lose. And he looks in the rearview mirror and goes, "Smile, you fuck," and just gets out the car.
This is definitely early Shane Black. I think he got a lot better as he got older. The new stuff in Iron Man 3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so sharp and it's so on the nose but this is still good. And there's some cracking one-liners and stuff I want to come to later on. But it definitely felt like a Shane Black film because of the dialogue in places.
There's been talk that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was almost not a remake of this by any stretch, but some of the things that he didn't think transferred from the script to screen in film, he kind of reused in the one.
Yeah, that makes sense for Shane. This is very much 90s Shane Black. It's 90s noir, it's kind of it's not film noir at all, but it's 90s version of it.
It's Tony Scott, so it's film noir with a bit of yellow.
Yeah.
And a few tits thrown in and some wobbly bottoms as well.
Who's got the wobbly bottoms?
Well, Halle Berry. Some people didn't. I don't want to point fingers.
Ooh, this is only Halle Berry's third film, I think.
Seeing her in this, it took me a couple of seconds to realise who it was, and then go, "Oh, bit cheeky. Hello."
That's
a
very English reaction. That is.
Yeah,
the fact is like.
Well, I am an English man.
Carry on, last Boy Scout.
I heard the music come on. I was tempted to chase it around the room very quickly.
Nice.
So, what do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about some of the dialogue? Do you want to talk about the characters?
I mean, yeah, I guess the two things are interlinked really, because a lot happens in the film, but there are a lot of characters that don't do very much, but they do have some great lines, and I think that's one of the things that makes it. There's some great performances in here, but there's also if we just jump a little bit forward, is that again, obviously we're going to spoil this to pieces, but Joe's partner, Mike, not only is he his partner, he's also sleeping with Joe's wife, and he comes home and as he's a detective, he manages to work out there's a guy in the closet. So he basically threatens to shoot the closet, and so he comes out. And, so he kind of almost says it wasn't meant to happen. So the line he has there is, "Oh, yeah, I get it. You tripped, you fell, and you accidentally stuck your dick in my wife."
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mrs. H. It's just isn't my week.
And then, of course, there's a line which comes back again later. I think one thing Shane Black is very good at doing is planting the seed of a line early in the film and bringing it back in later. So before he punches Mike, he does give him the choice of head or gut.
Yeah. That's wicked.
Yeah, and then when he sees the senator, he says the same thing, head or gut, except the senator has no idea what he's on about. So he just punches him in both.
Yeah, it's right at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Shane Black does that all the way through because, he's got a kind of catchphrase where if someone says, you're a bastard, and he always says, and then some.
Mm-hmm.
He does. That's a recurring theme all the way through it. And one of the things I like is I'm jumping way ahead now, but there's a scene between Joe and Jimmy Dix where Jimmy Dix is giving him his life story and how shit his life is, and he doesn't actually call him a bastard, but he just behaves like a bastard. And then as he walks out, Bruce Willis even says, and then some. But they don't actually. Yeah. I like the fact that nobody actually calls him a bastard. He's saying to himself, he's saying to the audience, "Yeah, I'm a bastard," and he kind of knows it. He knows what he's doing. He can't help it. He's sort of in spite of himself.
Yeah. They're both very, very wounded guys. They've both been wronged and they've fallen in bad luck. And there again, Bruce Willis' character, Hallenbeck did everything right, and he still got dumped on. He still got kicked out and mistreated and. He just started acting a dick.
One of the things I really like, I know we said right at the start that they're very different. They're very different, but they're also very similar. They're both kind of hot shots. They're kind of both the best. You talk about Jimmy having the $1 million arm quite a lot through the film because he's like this. Potentially could have been the best quarterback probably in history of the NFL. And you obviously got the other side is a Secret Service agent who saved the president. So two big, within American culture, that's two very big things. But they both, I guess, have been discarded, and they both carry a lot of baggage, and they both probably are full of self-loathing, which I think is what makes the kind of relationship between them work so well. And I think it's much more of a father-son relationship than a kind of brother-to-brother relationship like in some other Shane Black films.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, he all the way through it, Hallenbeck calls him son and junior and Slim. Yeah. There's quite a few references to that. And the one time that someone tries to do it to Hallenbeck, Shelley Marcone says to Hallenbeck, something son, and he's like, "I ain't your fucking son." Straight away. No messing about. Straight in there, balls out. Fuck you. Love it.
I'll tell you what, one of my favourite scenes is there, because we're jumping all over the place. It's this very small scene with two characters only in the one scene. And it's where they've just come out of a house or something, Hallenbeck and Jimmy Dix, and these two guys come up and he goes, "Oh, who are you?" And he goes, "What do you think we're here for?" And he pulls one of the guys pulls a gun on him, and they're there for the tape. He goes, "Yeah, smart guy. You see, he's really on the ball. He's really sharp. This guy, I like him. He's got a great intellect." And he's like, "What?" And then the guy starts using all these big words. And the bloke takes offence and hits him in the face. And then Jimmy goes, "Oh, shit, we beat up the guy who invented the Scrabble."
Yeah, that's what I think. That's probably my favourite scene in the whole film, just because from the straight away, like, oh, you fuckface and asshole. No, I'm fuckface. He's asshole.
Asshole, yeah.
Bad.
I think as well, it's at the point where, because Jimmy's a little bit cocky, but not anywhere near as much as Joe. But then as he spends more time with Joe, he starts to almost imitate him.
Yeah.
I think, but obviously he can't back it up. Because he has
not the same way.
He can front up to somebody, and he can. I mean, in fairness, what I quite like about it is his character's a sportsman, so he is physically fit and he is able to look after himself. But obviously, he hasn't had the training and stuff, so he does put himself in situations where they both get hit a lot. They both get hurt
hit in the face a lot. Like the number of times someone hits him in the face with a gun, it's probably in double digits. It's like, Jimmy says something smart, so the guy hits Bruce in the face, and he says it again, and he hits him in the face again. And then there's the whole scene with the guy punching him, going, "You touch me again, I'll kill you." Milo hits him.
That's my favourite scene, I think.
Yeah, that's
Marcone hits him in the face with a gun as well. So it's there's loads of times thinking, Jesus, his nose has been broken like 3 times in reality, at least in this film.
But that's what a good thing, because it's over maybe a couple of days. This film, and they both get fucked up through it, and they stay fucked up. Like, bad shit happens to them. Like you say, they get messed up. Although it's interesting that on the DVD cover, Jimmy Dix is all messed up. He's got all the scars across his face, whereas Bruce Willis is perfect.
Yeah, that was in his rider, wasn't it?
Without a doubt, you're not going to mess up Bruce Willis's face. If you're going to have Bruce Willis in your film and have him on the cover, you want him looking good.
I was reading something recently, actually, that as Bruce Willis's career has gone on, more of his co-stars have had less hair.
Oh,
because he doesn't like to be seen to have less hair than his co-stars, whether that's true or not.
But he's got no hair now, so how does that work?
People with no head. I see headless people.
Short people. Tom Cruise being the next one then. After that, it's the guy from Charlie and Chocolate Factory. So... So there's the chain smoking in the film, which is one thing you see a lot of and you don't see anymore. And the other thing that I really liked, I miss tape decks in cars.
Yes, which is an important plot point with a tape deck car.
Yep, but it's a tape.
Yeah,
I mean, they could have just solved the whole film, and that was the end of the film right there. If not for that tiny little plot device.
Yeah,
but that's so beautifully done though, because essentially, this is at the point where Joe has started to call him Junior, and there's a little bit of warmth between them. They've got some evidence, basically, that proves what's going on with this illegal betting thing. Got the tape, which they found in his apartment. They go to put it in his car, and it starts to fast forward it. It's fast forward, choose a tape. Fast forward, choose a tape. And then at the end, when it's all kind of finished, Bruce Willis just delivers the same line, but beautifully and so slowly. He just goes, "Fast forward, choose the tape." Brings the whole thing. It's the only time that people aren't talking at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Just kind of suddenly go, "Yeah, that's not good."
But it's a great plot device as well, because it allows you to a load of exposition out of the way really quickly. But then they also bring it back later on, right at sort of towards the end of the film, where they start talking about tape as well. It's like kind of their get out clause. So it works really well.
We've got a tape, we've got some evidence on you. And he's like, no, let me guess. If something happens to you, that tape goes to the police. And he's like, no, it goes to the mob.
See, that 90s plot device is, we've talked about Stone Cold before, which had a tape. And there's Rapid Fire, which I'd like to cover at another point. There's spoilers. There's a tape in that. But these days, there's an MP3.
Yeah, it just doesn't work quite as well, does it? And it's backed up as well, so
yeah.
It's on solid-state drive and Wi-Fi, and it's on Dropbox. You can't get to it.
It's in the cloud, man.
We'll destroy the cloud. How? Oh, shit. I'm stuffed. Oh, God. And also the giant mobile phones in cars. Just the car phones.
True. And Ginger Cat Puppet.
Oh, yeah. You can get a Furry Tom t-shirt.
No way.
Yeah, it's a Furry Tom Says t-shirt, and again, that's another brilliant scene where Joe, you think he's dead, you think it's all over, and he manages to turn. So it's kind of like a retell. It's almost used the same sort of story device that they use when he's fighting the guy in the alley. When he's outside when he sort of makes everyone laugh, then turns
Total
into
pimp.
Yeah.
Because you're a tall, pimp-looking dude.
Yeah, well, he said, he's like, it's not personal. He's like, how do you know it's not personal? Last night I fucked your wife. He's like, how do you know it was my wife? She's like, she told me your husband was a big pimp-looking motherfucker in a hat. Classic.
And he diffuses people with humour through the whole film. It's almost like how you're told to deal with bullies. But the difference is that he can, he has the goods to back it up. But all the way through the film. And even to the point, like, really? You can stand in the woods and make like 10 people laugh to the point they're laughing so much their guns are almost pointing the wrong way.
Yeah. I know it's stupid, right? This is really stupid. But as I was watching this, I was thinking, right, how is he making Furry Tom talk and then holding the gun in a way so that he could shoot someone in the face?
He was trained by Jim Henson. That is a valid point. If you could, I've never thought of that before. If you can make hand shape, I do hope people that are listening have seen the film. If you can make the hand shape of a puppet mouth, how would you shoot? That's quite a skill.
Yeah, I know it is a stupid little, like, you shouldn't really worry about these things. It's a movie, but I can't help it. How the fuck does he do that? He must have misshapen fingers.
Well, here's the first bit of trivia then for you, Pete, seeing as you're the number one fan of this film. When Jimmy first comes home, when Hallenbeck first takes Jimmy home and they meet his lovely daughter, who's got his winning personality. She's sat up late watching a film on TV. Do you know what the film was?
I can answer that.
Oh, give Pete a chance. Oh, Pete, do you know?
No, I don't have a clue. I'm going to have to pass it over.
Go on, Gav.
Okay, so I think I can challenge Pete for the number one fan of Last Boy Scout, as it is honest to God, my favourite action movie of all time, without a doubt.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure that Lethal Weapon is playing in the background.
Correct. Well done.
Yeah.
It's the shower scene where Riggs has been tortured towards the end. They're hung him up on the hook. Yeah. They're pouring water over him, and Eno is electrocuting him, going, "Sorry, buddy, it's nothing personal." And I'm thinking, has a familiar ring to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's little things like, because the scene with the leather pants scene.
Yes.
That's taken from Lethal Weapon. That was one of the deleted scenes that you can actually watch on the DVD.
Really?
And it's Murtaugh talking to his daughter, and she's wearing leather pants, and he says something like, "What? It doesn't have a small TV in it?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "I am old," which is verbatim how it is in Last Boy Scout.
Did you know that, Pete? Because the crown's slipping off your head, mate.
Well, no. I didn't know that. Well, that's why I did say I was bringing someone else in like Shane Black. So
But I like Shane Black. It's great.
Look, guys, I got notes and everything.
Okay, I got notes too. There was a nice reference later on to The Godfather as well. Did you notice that?
What, with the stallion head?
Yes, that's right. He's talking about the mob, and he's saying you don't have to worry about the police. You'll wake up one morning and your stallion's head will be in bed with you. To Marcone, I think it is.
Yeah, he is saying it to Shelley, and it works quite well as well because he is the owner of the LA Stallions, which ties in quite nicely.
And of course, he gets on the mascot horse and rides at the end of the film. No. Oh, spoiling is complete, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they got the brothers riding horses now. Everything ties in. Because doesn't Hallenbeck say that to Jimmy Dix at the start when they first meet? Says, "What, are they brothers riding horses now?"
Yes.
Because she's a cowgirl.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't it because of his jacket?
Yeah, it's got like a
Like Jimmy Dix is wearing that horrendous ghetto Western jacket thing with like the strings hanging off it, leather jacket. It's awful.
I quite like that. I quite like that jacket.
You could probably still get one down Block Market, Pete.
Excellent. Give me half an hour.
What about that hat? That kind of tea cozy with a little kind of frill hanging off it, like a judge's kind of frill thing. It's just like, what that? Like a mortarboard frill. It just looked weird.
Oh, that hat is odd.
Well, we talked about Marcone, didn't we, a minute ago? I'm going to try and bring myself back into favour here.
Come on.
We've spoken about a film previously where he was also the villain in a relatively similar role.
Is it Noble Willingham, his name, isn't it?
It is Noble Willingham.
He's in like everything. He's in like Ace Ventura and like every single TV show. Remember,
Quantum Leap.
Yeah, he's in like the 18 Magnum PI, everything. He's like one of those character actors. You just see him and you're like, oh, he's in Walker, Texas Ranger, man.
Wow.
But which film that we've previously spoken about has he been in?
Pre-Last Boy Scout?
Yes, 2 years prior.
Is it Blind Justice?
Oh, Blind Fury.
Blind
Fury, damn it!
He's
Couldn't get the
McCready
title
in Blind Fury. He's McCready in Blind Fury. So it's a relatively similar role.
Okay, all right.
Let's see.
God. That was good. That was good. I'll give you a little bit for that. Well done.
He might be winning he might be, along with most of the Expendables cast, might be winning in being in 2 episodes.
Do you know what? I was actually really upset by his death. Not because I felt sorry for him, but for another reason. Do you know what it was?
You felt sorry for the dogs.
Yeah.
Too innocent.
Yeah. So he's got 2 Dobermans, never hurt anybody, apart from maybe an intruder and bit the balls off, but they deserved it. So he gets home, he thinks he's top of the world, he's going to pack his bags with a load of money and bugger off into the sunset, and he opens it up, and in the background, as he opens up the bomber, is 2 dogs, and the whole house explodes, and you see them laughing, and I thought, poor buggers.
Yeah, that is a bit harsh, isn't it?
Don't see that films anymore either. The dog, it's almost like the A-Team thing, you see the explosion, and then you see dogs run out. They didn't do it back then.
Payback, another film, Payback, of course, the dog dies in the director's cut, but when the cinematic release was actually, I think Mel Gibson had Brian Nicholas locked out of the edit suite, and he went in, the editor has got the film recut, and they added the voiceover and lots of things that he didn't want in there, and one of the things was they edited the dog survived.
You see, you can do whatever you want to people, but not to animals.
Mel Gibson hates all people but loves dogs.
That's fair enough.
Well, he gets to be the villain in the next Expendable, so, full circle.
That's what it is. It's a bit like Shia LaBeouf, or a bit like Joaquin Phoenix. I don't think Mel Gibson has done any of these things over the last 10 years that everyone thinks are terrible. I think it was all method building up to the part in Expendables 3.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, dude. Yeah.
If you'd like to believe that, then by all means.
Have you heard the tapes?
No.
I've heard bits of them enough to not want to see him in anything else.
He is a horrible individual. But, I mean, I kind of will still watch things with him in.
It's difficult. We've talked about this before, but in terms of 80s films, and probably the time I was watching action films all the time, apart from the likes of Van Damme or the kind of straight-to-video in those days, in terms of cinema releases, as far as I'm concerned, Mel Gibson and Bruce Willis were the best. Yes, I love Schwarzenegger and Stallone stuff, but in terms of films where you get a bit of acting chops and the action, and usually the balance of humour and pathos, those 2 guys didn't put many foot wrong, or even feet.
Didn't get about... Go on.
I was just going to say I wasn't a big fan of Hudson Hawk.
I like Hudson Hawk. You see? I like Hudson Hawk.
No, you're on your own.
I'm the one.
Who's wrong? Who? Pete's wrong.
Yeah, I'm a Gav on this. Pete's on his own.
Yeah, well, we knew that anyway, really. This just confirms it.
Come on.
Yeah, get a nice little mention to Arnie in this film as well at one point. Toward right at the end of the film, he's talking about catchphrases and stuff.
Yes, the end scene, which I think it was an inspiration for 17 and Hot Fuzz. Edgar Wright is a massive Scott fan.
That shows definitely, without doubt. You can see that Edgar Wright is a huge Tony Scott fan. That makes sense.
But they're exchanging. They're talking about it's the 90s now. You can't just hit a guy. You want to give him a quick or one.
Yeah. So if you hit surfer pal.
Because what else? War is wet. And old Satan Claus Jimmy, he's out there and he's getting stronger.
So he does dance a jig on the top of the sort of floodlight area of the game once he's kind of killed Milo. It's just, for me, that's the one time that the line and the puff are too close together. It'd been nice if he'd said that quite early on, but I guess the takes weren't enough for him to be that concerned.
Yeah, I mean, the whole end of the film starts actually about halfway through the film. That moment from basically from the car chase from when they're in the woods, and it's not long after that he says that line. It's just one long sort of sequence of events that is leading up to the end of the film, and that's like an hour in.
Yeah.
One of the 45 minutes left.
One of the big criticisms of Shane Black from his 90s stuff compared to what he's doing now is that his final acts weren't as strong, and he'd build you up to something, but then it wouldn't pay off quite as well. I'm not sure that's true, but maybe people are saying because his kind of third act is much longer than traditionally.
I don't think that's a bad thing though. It works in this film. It's because it's just like I say, it's a rip-roaring adventure from that point. I mean, really, there aren't any down points in this. I think the only down point is when they first get arrested and they're sort of getting to know each other. Other than that, it's just action all the way. Bags of action, some might say.
Well, you could. I mean, there's a great bit as well when they're chasing Milo and they drive the car and the car lands in his pool. In front of that guy who's just sat there with his dog reading his paper. And he's like, give me a car. He's like, no. And Hallenbeck puts a gun to his own butter's head and goes, give me a car. The girl gets it. The guy goes, he has to think about it before agreeing. He goes, all right. And
that's just after the bit in the woods, say, when he does the puppet. And he does the line with Milo that's on the t-shirt you were talking about now, because I look at the floor, which is what he missed.
Yeah, because he's got his dick stuck in a chip's ass.
We haven't talked about Milo.
Some of the things he says in front of his daughter, considering at the end of the film, as he becomes a good parent, he tells her not to swear. He said some pretty terrible things in front of her. But yeah, Milo's he's one of those people, villains, I think, that easily have been just one note. But a combination of the script and the performance, I think, elevates him to kind of one of the really kind of memorable action movie screen villains.
Yeah, he just looks horrible, doesn't he? He like everything. The way he's lying, he's like with venom. He bits everything out, and you're like, I fucking hate this guy. I think he calls everyone by their full name, like Joseph and James. But that's a nice little character pick for him. Milo is like. I don't remember seeing him in anything else after this, though.
No, I had a look at him to be today, and he pretty much just did into kind of small tonty.
It's still a shame because he's good. He's a good bad guy. He could have had a good career as the bad guy. I mean, that's one of the things where they like. Even Hallenbeck says that. So when they go like they've kidnapped him, and it's just after the scene where he kills. I'm not name it Hig from Manic, who's wicked in it as well. Bomba baby. But yeah, he when he's got him, he even says like Milo tries to introduce himself, and he's like, "Oh, who gives a fuck? You're the bad guy, yeah." Let's just get on with it.
It does. Yeah. I mean, we just go back a step back to the scene we kind of touched on before, the swimming pool. So Joe's kind of been taken and he's tied up by the side of the swimming pool. And the guy you mentioned is kind of giving him the beat down, as it were. But the first time he punches him, he grabs his wrist and then he breaks his wrist. So he's a bit of a glutton for punishment. I think I compare kind of, obviously, if you touch me again, I'll kill you. It's a bit like kind of the kind of hard man confidence that we hadn't really seen post-90s until probably something like Taken.
Yeah.
Where obviously the scene on the phone, Liam Neeson, I will find you,
I have such a
I will kill you.
And I'll use
but
it.
It's that kind of thing. Is whatever you do to me doesn't really matter. Eventually, I'll kill you. Here, you don't have to wait very long. It's a few seconds later, and then he puts the guy's nose through his brain, and does exactly the same with Milo. Milo hits him, and he gives him the same threat, but obviously takes a little bit longer.
Yes, not longer payoff for that one. Towards the end of the film, is I told you to kill you. And I think, that was a long 2 minutes compared to last time, and it kicks him off the lights. But old Milo doesn't just get shot, and he doesn't just get kicked off the lights. No. His head and old torso goes through a helicopter motor, and I'm thinking, there's not much left of him by the time it hits the floor.
It's 90s action movie bingo. Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, cross that off. Helicopter, excellent. Cross that one off.
I always see the head death vents for the guys in the copter who Milo shoot. Because that's what's about that scene that I like. Like, Milo's kind of, he's got nowhere to run, right? He's tried to assassinate the senator, and then he's tried to take out Jimmy and half the crowd by the look of things. He knows he's fucked. So just start people. Like, when the cops are shooting him, he has no problem shooting the cop out of the helicopter, killing them. They're, like, sort of hanging off the helicopter. So I see his sort of death as almost poetic, the way he has to get. Well, I mean, he's already been shot up quite a lot, but then completely eviscerated by the blades. And that's the other thing about that scene is that, like, Joe jumps to the ground and he's like, not me, like they can hear him, okay, but that's actually what you would do in that situation. If you shit yourself and you thought you were going to get shot and you would jump on the floor and go, not me, don't do it, please.
I actually think, and this is going to sound a bit, I'm being too deep and meaningful, but I wonder if that's part of the idea of character specialist. At the start of the film, he hates himself, doesn't really care what happens to himself. At the end of the film, he's actually saying, don't shoot me.
Yeah, nothing's fair.
Because he got then him and his wife in reality in the end, and even though he did his own charming way. Fuck you, Sarah.
Fuck him, the most romantic scene ever.
But then, another two seemingly unromantic films that are very romantic. True Romance, obviously, name both Tony Scott because similar kind of the way they go to each other sometimes.
Yeah, I love the way he says to him, brings it again. Get into that point where she brings a line that I said earlier. She kind of says sorry and everything, but even then she fucked with him and says, "I'll be a dog." and she's crying, but she's also like, hey, I'm buying a dog. Remember that from it? Check it out.
Wait,
It's all right. It's all right. But if they haven't got any dogs left, I'm going to have another affair.
Yeah. And as we're talking about dogs, I know we talked about dogs earlier, but I think should all make point. The real hero of this whole film is the Labrador that Joe throws the ball for at the beginning of the film. You know what I'm talking? Because if you notice, every time something bad happening, that dog's around and he's running at everyone. It's like Lassie, only in this film, nobody understands what the fuck Lassie's going on about and just throw the ball. Just like, get the fuck away, Lassie. I don't care who's down the wall. Because when Mike's car's going to get blown up, the dog's barking there and kicking off. Sorry, trying to say, there's a ball in the car. Oh. And then later, when Joe gets electrocuted and taken to the car, the dog's barking then. And when the cop comes up to the car, dog's still barking, trying to say, look, guy's a bad guy. He's a shot in the face.
I wonder if the dog's in on it because he framed the Doberman.
Oh, nice. I see what you've done there. You've taken it
very good.
There were more dogs in this film than I realised.
Dead Squirrel, you got 3 dogs, 2 of them are geniuses, one's undercover. It's all going on. It's all going on.
Don't forget
the horse,
yes.
Yeah.
The other hero of the movie.
Should have been called Last Boy Vet.
Oh, Jesus.
I think, one of the only criticisms, the criticisms in this film mainly are that it's of its time. I don't think you can really criticise a film for being made when it was made, unless you're a time traveller. I don't think that's something you can say. But one of the big thing is about misogyny. But then, I guess it's not defendable. But I suppose that they look at it and say, from what I've read, is that the female characters are quite one note in this film. You've got a strap who gets killed. You've got the girl who the American footballer tries to already play, we say, if not, he can drown her. You've got a wife who's having an affair, and then has to apologise into the film. You're quite misogyny, but that's kind of it. And it is kind of one. I have read it myself, but the original script online apparently, and a lot of the female parts were in shooting rather than forced. In the first draft of the script, or the script that was bought, the wife played an active part in the finale, and she shot Milo.
Okay.
Because Corey is kind of the women in refrigerators thing. She gives Jimmy the motivation to give a shit. Because of that, he doesn't like Hallenbeck. He thinks he's a waste of space. He tries to take his girlfriend away from her. And I'm cool, I can cope. You don't need that guy. And then, of course, because he's not right next to her and he kind of stops at the traffic lights when it changes to red and she gets out of the car and gets shot. And so he's there doing nothing. But her death then gives him the motivation. Typical, women in refrigerators thing.
Yeah. Yeah, women do not do well in this film at all, really. But how do you feel about Hallenbeck's daughter? Because she is playing that sort of annoying kid role that you get in every Jane Back movie. But I think she does, because she is his daughter.
Mini Joe, yeah. Favourite line, not my favourite line in the film, but just the fact that she says it, and I think maybe the first time I was like, okay, the young child has kind of come out with the line is when she been held hostage by Marconi.
Yeah.
And he's trying to talk to her, and she basically says, eat shit, you fucking redneck. So, again, that is him channeled through his daughter.
Well, I wanted Joe to sort of take her under his arm and go, "That's my girl," but he doesn't. He that says to me, sweetheart, or something like that. Those lines. Yeah. She went over him. She actually turns out to be quite hot. That young girl grows up to be quite hot. I checked her out on.
I thought you meant at the end of the film. I was going to have to do next.
But before anyone starts having a go at me, right? She's older than me. Let me put out.
She's not older than me.
She's you, mate.
She's 4 years younger than we do. So it's not that bad.
Well,
at that point, when you're watching the film, when it came out, it might have been, I know.
But she's quite good at the beginning of her. She's got the same personality as Joe. And she says,
she's 3 years younger than me.
I thought you were 4 years.
Yes.
But yeah, she does better. She's sassy. She's got mouth on her. She takes the initiative. Like says to Jimmy, you couldn't cover your tracks so well. And she tracks him down by hitching. And she brings a gun and gets in the car with him. Says, "I'm not going anywhere." Well, you're going home. She says, "I'm not." Then she stays in the car at Woods. So she saves both of them by bringing Furry Tom and the gun. She stole from her dad's lockbox or his bedroom or somewhere. So she does better than everybody else, except for then she's held hostage by creepy Milo. But
yeah, but that's Joe's fault. Yeah, completely Joe's fault. He leaves her at the house.
Yeah.
Doesn't check to see Milo. Just shoots the car up shitload.
Then he happily does the same thing again at the stadium. He leaves her again.
Rubbish.
He's going
the
to
worst in the world.
So I've just got it's play.
Yeah, she's hot, isn't she? Who'd have thought it?
No, I didn't see that coming.
Okay, so we're getting towards the end of it now, but before we do, we've got a little bit of trivia from Gav.
Oh, okay. So, this goes out to both of you. I'm expecting Pete to be able to answer this, but
it's not based on the rest of this show.
So can you, either of you, tell me, and it'd be the first to buzz in, can either of you tell me which sort of actor stroke comedian makes his official acting debut in this movie?
I don't know if he's a comedian, but Morris Chestnut?
No.
Okay, Morris Chestnut does make his debut in this film, however.
Okay, who's Morris Chestnut?
He's an action movie star. Come on. He says, looking him up on IMDb. He's in Kick-Ass 2.
Oh, he's the cop in Kick-Ass 2. Yeah.
He was in... I wasn't his first one. He was in Boys in the Hood as well. What you would know him from probably the most would be Under Siege 2.
No, it was Kick-Ass.
And he was in Half Past Dead. Half Past Dead is a film I recognise going, Morris Chestnut's the least action man name.
But no, it's still not him, so I'm still looking for an answer.
A comedian that makes his debut.
His debut?
He's an actor stroke comedian.
It's not Andrew Dice Clay.
No.
Seinfeld.
No, you're quite far off the mark. But he's an actor. Right, okay, maybe I'm throwing you off with comedian.
Lenny Henry.
Yeah, you got it.
What?
No, it's not Lenny.
Oh, you swine.
Do you need a clue?
Yeah.
Get back in the cage, you fucking monkey.
Oh, so the DJ.
The DJ.
Oh God, in the stupid hat. Who is he? Oh, the DJ in the club from the start. I don't know who he was. I can see him. No, I don't know either.
It was Eddie Griffin. Do we know Eddie Griffin? Do you guys know Eddie Griffin?
I know the name.
He's in like Juice Bigelow.
Okay.
I'm sure he's the pimp in that. You know, the man whores guy.
Right.
And he's in a shed load of other like sort of Happy Madison stuff. Coming back to the Adam Sandler stuff we were talking about. He's in House Party 3. He's in Coneheads. He's in Meteor Man.
Wow.
He's in a lot of black comedies, basically.
Ooh. James Gandolfini is an uncredited henchman in Last Boy Scout.
Oh, is he one of the henchmen in the woods?
Yeah.
I think I knew that for some reason. I don't remember seeing him.
A beard in that, because that was around his beard period.
The beard period.
Come back in, apparently.
Just another film altogether as well. Merkin Heavy.
Enough with the yakety yak. What is your score?
So, are we ready to give it some scores, do we think?
I think so. I was just going to say that Tony Scott hates this film, apparently. Or hated this film, sorry. Rest his soul. He kind of almost didn't completely deny working on it, obviously, but he said the script was much better than the film he made because Joel Silver and Bruce Willis kept interfering, and he wouldn't work with either of them again. It's one of the main reasons, as well as the box office, where there wasn't a sequel, because the end set it up to be a franchise to run parallel to Lethal Weapon, and I can imagine they might have even crossed over.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
But at the end, he asked Jimmy to be his partner, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, cool, there's going to be a sequel, but I think it works better in a way that there isn't one. But yeah, so when going back to Edgar Wright, he wanted to do a screening. I think it was before Hot Fuzz. And he wanted to show Last Boy Scout and introduce Tony Scott to do a Q&A, and Tony Scott asked him to change it to True Romance because he thought it was a better film. And then in the end he had to cancel anyway. But have a trivia fact there.
Yeah, Tony Scott's not the only one who hated this movie as well, because the guy who did the music, Michael Kamen, that's right. He said it was a piece of shit, and he wouldn't. But he was such good friends with Bruce Willis and Joel Silver, he kind of did it as a favour. But the score is very similar to Lethal Weapon. Yeah, he didn't work real hard on it, but it works. It's kind of moody all the way through, and there's only like 5 songs in this, but every one is fucking awesome. Okay, I did swear then. I apologise.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But you've got what have we got in it? You've got Prince in it. Get Up. You've got
Which like, I can't stand this funk stuff. It's like, it's Prince. You know who Prince is. That's the only thing I don't buy about Joe Hallenbeck. I don't care how many cars he slept in or how many squirrels he's had sex with. He would recognise a Prince song.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And that's another recurring theme all the way through this, about playing rap music and playing funk shit.
Yeah, you want to hear me scream, play funk, rap music.
Which is another reason why it wouldn't have worked if Mel Gibson had been in it.
No.
I can't see Mel Gibson getting down to Prince.
No.
Pretty sure he hates Prince.
But I'd imagine it's a Geffen Pictures film, isn't it? So I'd imagine it's back in there. He's got a heyday as a big record label as well as making films. So, I'd imagine maybe you can get the soundtrack through them.
You can't. I've tried.
Oh, right.
Seriously.
You want to try Varese Sarabond, who I think are French, who put out a lot of action movie soundtracks.
Okay, well, like I said, but there were only five songs in the whole thing.
Then it was 91, so you then get remixes of the same songs.
Oh, I need a remix of Friday Night's a Great Night.
You need a Bill Medley.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic, lovely.
Should we give scores? Everyone ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, who's going first?
Yeah, you go first.
You're the guest.
Okay, well, as this is my first official podcast with you guys, I feel a little bit bad going like balls out straight away, but I can't help. Like I said, this is my favorite action movie of all time, so I have to give this 5 bags of action, I'm afraid.
Ooh,
like it doesn't get any better than this for me. I've come in at a high, like it's just downhill from here on in. It's just there are no better action movies.
Wow, that's throwing down the gauntlet big time.
Right, there's no half bags, which puts me in a bit of a quandary because I like this almost as much as Gav. However, due to the existence of Predator, I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay. I think it's fair because like there's not, there in terms of action, I'm probably rating it a little bit different to you guys. I'm rating it mostly on dialogue and how this film makes me feel. It just makes me really happy as I'm watching it. There's not a minute of it when I'm not happy. So it's less about the action and more about just I love the movie.
Yeah, I think my criteria is probably the same, to be honest. It is a combination of the two. I think people will probably know if they've listened to other episodes that I can be quite tough on the scripts of films that maybe people think, why on earth are you being tough on the script for? So no, I'd say it's the same. Yeah, it's so close though, but I think I'll stick with a 4.
Well, if I think about this film, I think about the other films that are coming around the same time. So talking about Lethal Weapon, which is, only a couple of years before this, and Shane Black again, and Lethal Weapon 2. I actually prefer Lethal Weapon, so I'd give Lethal Weapon a higher score. So with that in mind, I'm going to give it 3 bags of action. 3 out of 5.
Does Lethal Weapon have as many bags of action in it though?
I think so, because they've got quite a few things that carry on through. You've got that scene where they're being tortured and they carry through to a shootout, and then you get stuff in the desert. You get stuff.
The first one I think does hold up against this because it has got that same great dialogue, but also we talked before, it's that relentless action to action to action.
Yeah.
I think
fight in the rain, the fist fight. You've got the stuff at the end.
True.
So you see, I would give that. I'm not going to say what I'd give that in case we come to it later, but so thinking about films at the time and thinking about this one, I enjoyed it. Even with some of the sort of issues we touched on. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I think that's it's a good score. I liked it better than some of the others, but I think there's better out there. I'm going to say it. I think there is.
Steve, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you said you watched this recently, yeah? So you hadn't seen it for a long time. Has your score gone up or down, do you think, from when you originally watched it? I know you wouldn't have been scoring it then, but just like on your own going, well, I'm going to give it.
Let me refer to my filing cabinet.
If I pull up my Rolodex card from back in 1991, I think back then I enjoyed it a lot more because, one, I was probably more the target audience, the right kind of age limit, So I would have given it a lot more. I think I wouldn't have noticed some of the issues that I have with it now as an older man, I guess.
So do you think it's aged well or not?
I think it's aged okay. I think
it's definitely a film of its time, isn't it? It's so 90s, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and sometimes that works. I mean, they've done some of the things to death, which they had done already by then. The washed up drunk and the former who's now a PI, and they've done that a lot. But even now, looking at it, I think I'm not there going, oh God, another drunk washed up PI. It was okay. I didn't mind that, and there's some of the other cliches that I could just kind of go, yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm happy to see it. So,
okay, let me pitch you this.
Yeah.
Sort of in the parlance of our times, the way they do things now, Beverly Hills Cop almost got made into a TV show. They've announced they're gonna do a Last Boy Scout TV show. Would you watch it?
Yes, definitely.
Me too. I think you could recast. I think it would work. Don't get me wrong. Bruce Willis owns Joe Hallenbeck. He
okay,
really does.
All right. So it's a TV show. Shane Black is going to be the showrunner himself.
Oh,
okay. But we are allowed to cast the two leads.
And we.
How about Morris Chestnut as?
He's been in another film with Halle Berry actually not long ago. What about Channing Tatum?
Oh no!
I don't know, man. He's not bad. He's pretty good in most things. Actually, he's not bad.
Yeah, but he's too clean. He needs to be a bit of a smelly, older, rumpled, less pretty guy. He's too pretty for Hallenbeck.
Bruce Willis isn't exactly ugly, though, is he?
He's got a very everyman kind of face, and Channing Tatum's a little bit of a pretty boy for me. I find him, an attractive chap. I wouldn't say Bruce Willis was.
It's got to be someone who can deliver the lines completely deadpan.
Yeah. Got to have the chops.
But also a little bit charming. I'm trying to think of who. I mean, I was thinking Kiefer Sutherland for a second, but it's too close to. No, Jack Bauer's not really like that.
He's coming back as well.
I saw that, today. I saw it's set in London as well, the new 24.
Yeah, London and Europe, 12 hours. So no longer 24. So we haven't got any casting then.
Yeah. I really didn't prepare for this. I just
in fairness,
I just came up with it on the fly, just wondering. But I could definitely see them doing it.
Well, they're doing From Dusk Till Dawn as a TV series, and Rodriguez is involved, and that is a film very much of its time. But they're updating it and redoing it, and you won't have Salma Hayek running around with a giant python in her pants.
I love that film.
Have you seen the trailer for the TV show?
No.
Yeah, it's out now. You can get it on Del Rey, and it doesn't look good, to be honest with you, dudes. It's just again. I tell you, who could do it possibly. He may be a bit too old now, actually. I was going to say Clooney could probably do it, actually.
Or Harrelson.
Oh, yeah, or Harrelson. Oh, True Detectives. Anyone seen that yet? I want to see that.
No, but I think it
trailer looks awesome.
Goes to show where TV is now compared to where it was 10 years ago, that that people are going to TV.
Well, it used to be the ghetto. It used to be comics with the ghetto, TV the ghetto. Now all of the big actors for the last 15 years or so have been doing TV shows, right down to...
I think it almost started with 24, I think, in a way.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Kiefer Sutherland, even though at that point in his career he wasn't that big a star, he'd really,
But you were like, someone we know, whose name we know is starring in a new TV show, and the exec producing it. And it does feel that those things have come from that.
Well, I think production values are so much higher on TV shows now. You can get movie quality on TV anyway, so it really isn't the ghetto anymore. It looks just as good. I mean, some of the TV shows I've seen recently look better than some of the films I've seen, without a doubt.
Yeah, and you get the space and the time to explore characters in a way you don't in a 2 or 3 hour film. Well, thanks for joining us this episode, Gav. We appreciate it.
Oh, no, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I made it all the way through.
So we'll be back next month. In the meantime, let us know what you thought of Last Boy Scout. Get in contact in the usual ways. You can follow us all on Twitter. Come on to Twitter, find us there. talk about action movies, let us know. There's a Facebook group as well. So, get in touch. Let us know what you think. And we'll be back next month.
You have been listening to Bags of Action. No bullshit. You'd better stick around for the next episode, because if you're lying, I'll be back.